It was 2017 when I quit all of my yoga teaching jobs and moved my yoga teaching and my business online. So this is way before the pandemic or before we all had to shut down and move everything online. I already had it in my mind that I wanted to teach online from home and not bounce from studio to studio. So today I am sharing why I quit teaching yoga in studios and the reasons behind that, because you might be where I was or I might be where you want to be. And I do encourage you, if you are more curious about the ins and the outs and how I work from home making 5 times as much as I did teaching 15 to 20 classes a week, then make sure to check out my free class, the 5 Steps to Growing Your Yoga Business at Home. It's down in the description and the comments down below, so check that out. But for now, let's go through a few of those reasons. And before we get there, my name's Ashley. Hello, if we haven't met, hi. I am an online yoga teacher, a yoga business coach, and I help primarily yoga teachers getting started to creating the best online systems to get them going to make a bigger impact in the world beyond teaching group yoga classes. And that's what I'm sharing with you today is my journey through that transition from teaching in studios and gyms and multiple places to now teaching primarily from the comfort of home. And I love it. And so let's go through those 4 reasons. And the first one is actually because of scheduling. I am in a different season of my life than I was in 5, 6, 7 years ago when I was teaching a bunch of classes. Back then, I was in my 20s. I was single, living on my own. I didn't have kids. I wasn't planning on having kids. I had a dog, and my rent was super cheap, and it was honestly really fun. I had the energy to bounce around from class to class, and I could teach at any time during the week. 5:30 a.m., 5 days a week, sign me up. 5:30 p.m. classes, no problem. Weekends, I'm on it. Now, I did make sure to take a day off here and there, but I was able to pick up any classes and take any sub opportunities, which made me a really ideal candidate for teaching studio classes and in different gyms. And I taught a lot of different formats and had a lot of fun doing it. But again, yoga studios, their schedule for popular classes are evenings, sometimes early mornings, and weekends. And the season of life I'm in now is I'm a mom with young kids and one on the way. So I have a 3-year-old and another baby coming up soon that I cannot teach outside of daycare hours. And daycare hours are 9 to 3 or 8 to 5 at most, and those are not prime times for yoga teaching. So for a local studio, it's very difficult for me to get on a regular schedule and without getting a babysitter or daycare. And I am the type of person that when I commit to a class and commit to something, I am there no matter what. Even if it's at the detriment and cost of, even if I have to pay a babysitter more than what I'm earning at the class, I will do that. And that's just not something that's a very smart decision. So scheduling has been a big issue with where I'm at. Now, let me come back to me in 10 years or when my kids are older and I could be saying something very different. My schedule will change. But right now, right here, I have to honor the season that I'm in, which is motherhood and really being there for my kids as they're really young. So scheduling is a big thing. It's not because I don't have the energy to teach a bunch of classes. It's just because it just doesn't seem like the best feasible option. And sure, I could teach 1 class a week, which I actually do, but it's still really tough with that schedule to teach 1 class a week. So if I could get on for daytime classes, perhaps, but I have to weigh the options. So anyway, scheduling has been very difficult for in-person classes, plus the time that it takes to go to a class is not just the hour of teaching, but it's your prep time, it's the commute there, getting there early enough, staying a little after, locking up and cleaning. I would say for an hour class, it takes about 2 hours of your time minimum. And that's if the studio is nearby your home. So that's really tough for me too, is to take that time, that full 2 hours to go and do that. Again, maybe 1 or 2 classes a week I could manage, but there's no way I could be a yoga teacher teaching even 5 to 10 classes a week. Even private lessons would be very challenging for me unless they were midday. So scheduling has been difficult. So that's why I really love teaching online, is because I can schedule for any time that I want. 3 p.m., no problem. 6 a.m., awesome. Because there are people all over the world in different time zones, and they are going to meet you where you're at the time that you're scheduling something, as long as you stay consistent. So my current class is 6 a.m. online, and it's also 30 minutes. So I can wake up at 5:45, get ready in 5 minutes, turn on Zoom, and go. And I've really enjoyed that. And my classes are also shorter, and also recommended to be shorter when you teach online, so it doesn't take as much time. And so it's been something that's been very beneficial for me, and the ability to stay home and teach at a time that doesn't interfere or conflict with any family schedules. So a big reason, and the main reason really, is scheduling and where I am in my life right now. Maybe this applies to you, maybe it doesn't, maybe you resonate. If you're also in a season of life where it's hard to make it out of your house due to whatever reason, maybe it is because you have kids, then keep listening, keep following along, and make sure to check out that class, that free class that I have in the description below. Okay, second reason is a topic we don't like to talk about. It's money. The second reason is money. Working for other studios and working for other people, and being a former studio owner myself, I know how expensive it is to run a studio. And they can't pay you enough to make it a full-time job. I tried. When I was teaching 15, 20 classes plus workshops every single week, I made probably $1,500 a month. And because I lived in a place that was very inexpensive, I could do that. Usually teachers will start between $15 and $30 a class. That's not a lot. Remember, you can't do 40 hours a week. There's no benefits. It's not a full-time job. Now, this isn't speaking to everyone. Now, there are some teachers out there who get paid a lot more and who make a ton of money per class, but I'm going to say it is rare, especially for new teachers. So most of us yoga teachers are doing so because of our passion for teaching. The income becomes a little bit of extra money, right? It becomes extra pocket money, going out money. It becomes extra groceries, maybe a tank of gas. But if you're someone like me who has to pay all of their own bills and doesn't have someone else who is financially supporting them, I needed to find something else that made more money in a shorter amount of time, but still doing what I loved, which was yoga teaching and fitness and really whatever I wanted to share with the world. And it's possible, especially when you work online. It's really cool. So nowadays, because I switched from spending a lot of time for this much money, now I use my time, condense it, and by offering things like online courses and memberships and things that I can do from home, I now earn at least 5 times the amount that I earned by teaching a bunch of classes every single week. And it doesn't take me as much time at all. It did take time to build up. Again, it does take time to build those revenue and income sources. But once they grow, you can feel that sense of relief and that sense of, if I do want to teach yoga in a studio, it's not because I need the money. It's not because I need the income from it. Instead, it can go back to being the extra. But for me, I needed something that was more like a full-time income for my family, to support my family, especially living in a higher cost of living area. I went from Fargo, North Dakota, really cheap rent, everything's super, like gas is the least expensive in that area, to living in the Seattle area, which is one of the most expensive places to live. So had to switch gears here and change things up. So I did that. So scheduling was an issue. I have had to change things due to season of life. Money, I needed to earn more money and find ways I could do that in less time. And then the third reason that I quit teaching yoga in studios is I needed to protect my own energy. When I taught a bunch of classes, running around from class to class, it's a little bit stressful. And again, as a mom with young kids, it's quite stressful to figure out what to do with them, especially if childcare is not an option. And I wanted a slower pace of life. Teaching every evening and teaching every early morning and weekends, it got to be a lot. And I really knew back then, even in my 20s when I was doing that, it wasn't sustainable. It wasn't long-term sustainable. It wasn't something I could do until retirement. So I knew I needed to start formulating a plan now so that when I got to that point where it was too much, that I could adjust and I could shift and everything would be okay. And it is, thank goodness. So with protecting my energy, I also have a hard time working for others. I don't like saying that, but I've got to say that. I do have a really tough time working for others. I have, I think, a genetic predisposition towards entrepreneurship, towards wanting to be in control and wanting to change things and wanting to own something of my own. So I protect my energy best by knowing that about myself and owning it and saying, you know what, I am best as my own business owner. And I even owned a yoga studio, but due to those other reasons, scheduling, how much time it took, and the money that actually came in versus went out are reasons why owning an actual studio was really tough. And honestly, not because of the money, but a lot of it was scheduling. I'm a mom with young kids. That is the biggest reason. I need to be able to have something that I can do easier, but not simple. I mean, it's simpler, less time consuming, not necessarily easy, but still manageable. And so I found that. And the fourth reason, beyond protecting my energy, knowing how I best work, is I honestly love working online. I love teaching online and I love learning online systems. And that's another thing I think I got from my dad, who was a computer science major, introduced me to computers at a very young age. And he was really into starting businesses, even though none of them really worked out. He was into starting businesses and learning about computers, and he was buying domain names when they first appeared. I'm like, if he were still around and he was a little bit smarter with his strategies, he could have been a bajillionaire right now with the boom of the internet because he was so good at that stuff. And so my background now is in graphic design, graphic communications, multimedia design, video editing, Photoshop, that kind of stuff. And that's what I learned in college and through some of my past careers. And it's just part of me. And one of my goals was always finding a way to combine my graphic design and graphic skills with yoga, fitness, and the passions that I have. So I was good at graphic design, but it's not my passion. And so working for an agency or working for a company where I'm doing designs for their business wasn't that exciting for me. But yoga and teaching fitness classes was where I found that outlet. So my dream was to combine the two. And by being able to build my own website, to work online, to create courses, to do that kind of stuff, just sandwiches the two things together and creates this amazing opportunity for myself and for so many others. So that is actually what I help people with, is I want to help you sandwich the two things, to work online, whether it's just to earn a little bit of additional supplemental income, or like me, if you need to turn around and make this an actual business. And there's two ways. It can be more of like a little side hobby, or it can be an actual business for you. And you can learn more about how to do that in the free class that I have linked below. So make sure to check that out, because it's going to give you the step-by-step, more information on how you can switch your own path from working a ton of in-person classes to working online, and not just Zoom group yoga classes. There's a lot of other options. So I want to share those with you. So just a quick little recap. The reasons that I quit teaching yoga in studios, again, has nothing to do with the pandemic or keeping people safe. I don't live with someone who is immune compromised at all. This actually started pre-pandemic back in 2017. So those reasons are because of scheduling and the season of life I'm in, and because of the income opportunities that come with owning my own business rather than working for others. And then I'm trying to protect my energy, knowing how I best work and not trying to get burnt out at all. And I absolutely love working online. And if that sounds like you, again, I hope to continue seeing you in some of my videos, and I hope that we can work together in some capacity. I would love to help you through this journey. It's something that I think everyone should experience, is just trying to earn a little extra income by doing what you love and delivering it in different ways. That's it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one very soon.